Welcome to the WalterFootball.com podcast. This is episode 309. We're doing our Week 16 NFL picks against the spread. I'm joined once again by Jacob Kamiker from the Sporting News. Jacob, how are you and how's your Week 15?
I'm doing pretty good. My Week 15 was weird. I started the week really well. I was like 2-0-1 after the standalone Thursday and the 2 Saturday games. So I came into Sunday and I'm like, all right, yeah, let's like run the table. Let's get a double-digit win week. Didn't go as planned, but I still finished. I finished 7-7-2. So I had 2 pushes, which is I've had 5 all year. So having 2 in 1 week is unusual. So that basically equals a 500 week. It's the same as an 8-8 week. So I was fine with that. The big win of the week, though, was we found a line error in the Steelers game for Ben Roethlisberger's passing yards over 28.5. So I managed to bet that. It was significantly more stressful than I thought it was going to be because he didn't even have it at halftime. And then we got it, and they decided to pay the ticket because I didn't bet an absurd amount of money on it. So thanks to Bovada for honoring that ticket. And I promise I won't do that a ton. I just happened to stumble upon it. So that helped to salvage a winning week for me monetarily. So that was pretty nice overall.
Yeah, that was it was stressful at halftime because he had 18 passing yards at halftime, and then I was going to text you as I told you before we started recording, and I didn't want to jinx it because I'm like, what if Roethlisberger is hurt and doesn't come out, and we're gonna lose the under 28? It would be like one of the worst beats of all time, I feel like, and we would have been like the only people to know about it too, which is kind of the crazy thing. Yeah, I had a winning week overall, like not overall with the picks, but money wise, it was like plus 210, plus 2.1 units. It could have been a much better week. The Patriots, they were my top pick of the week, and they lost. It was so frustrating. They allowed 260 rushing yards. They didn't seem to remember how to tackle. The Dolphins looked like they had Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith on their roster, just like running past the New England defenders. I know Stephon Gilmore got hurt in the second quarter, and that definitely derailed the Patriots, but they still couldn't tackle, and that was so frustrating. Especially like Bill Belichick having extra time to prepare for a rookie quarterback missing his top 4 receivers. Like you think the Patriots would win that one, and they didn't, and so that was frustrating. But other than that, I had a good week, and definitely thanks to you for pointing out the Roethlisberger the passing guard prop.
Oh yeah, no problem. I had to sanity check it to be sure I wasn't like reading the wrong thing. So every so often those line errors come up, and I'm not someone who goes looking for them. I was just looking at game props and happened to see that one. So when you see it, try to take advantage of it. If they had voided the wager, it would have been fine. Like, they have the right to do that, but I appreciate that they honored it. And like I said, it was more stressful than I thought it was going to be. So maybe they were like, yeah, these guys had to sweat out the most ridiculous wager of all time, so we'll let them have it.
Yeah, right. If that went under, like, and they charged us and they weren't going to honor it, like that would have been bad. But it was cool that they did. One more thing with sort of props. So Lamont saying the Jets and the Bengals both won. I saw on Twitter that if you bet $100 on a money line parlay between the Jets and the Bengals, $100, you would have won, I think, like $1.6 million or $1.3 million. Like, imagine just doing that. It kind of makes you think, like, and now if you do that going forward, you're never going to win. Like, you're going to lose a ton of money. So it's like a once in a lifetime thing. I don't know if anyone did it, but congratulations if you did. So yeah, we're going to get into our Week 16 picks. There's a game on Christmas Day, and then 3 games on Saturday. The divorce package, as I like to call it, and I think you had a better nickname for it, maybe. So we'll get to that in a second. But before we do, please hit subscribe or the like button if you're watching on YouTube, or share this video with someone who likes football. That would mean a lot to us to help spread the show and really help us out. So so let's get into the Christmas Day game. So it's the Vikings at the Saints. The line opened up Saints -8.5. It's down to 7. So who do you like in this game?
Yeah, so I like the Saints in this one. We're getting a little bit of line value here at 7, and I think that the Vikings are going to be demoralized after losing to the Bears. They're essentially eliminated from the playoff race, not mathematically, but all it's going to take is one Arizona win or one of like this. There are many combinations that will get them eliminated pretty much immediately. So I don't think they're going to be motivated for this one. They know that they're pretty much done for the year. And I think that the Saints, they're going to feel desperate now because they've lost 2 games in a row. They got surprised by the Eagles. They didn't show up right away against the Chiefs, and that really ended up costing them. They made the comeback and ended up that's what got me my second push, because I had them at -3 or +3 rather against the Chiefs. So that ended up working out well. But part of what I think happened in that game was Drew Brees was in his first game back from injury, and it took him a while to get going. So I think that as the game went along, he got better, and he was playing without a lot of weapons. Like, he does not have a lot of receivers right now, which is a little bit of a concern for me. But given how bad the Vikings have been against receivers this year, they've given up the second most receiving touchdowns to receivers this year, and they've given up a ton of yardage to them. I don't think he'll have as much trouble throwing on the Vikings as he normally would without his top receivers. Plus, I think Alvin Kamara will be more involved in the game plan. And I just don't think that the Vikings are going to show up at this point. So I'll take 7, because we're getting the key number of 7 now because of that line move. And I'm not like overly confident in this one. I'll probably put a unit on it. I just think that the Saints, the motivation favors them heavily, because they got to get off the schneid here. They got to stop losing, and they got to win if they don't want to end up, in a wild card spot, which is a possibility for them. It's possible, albeit unlikely, that they could fall as far as the 7th seed, I believe. Actually, I can't remember. My math, I think, is off on that. I think I'm at 6th seed there, but there are a lot of possible combinations for them there. So they got to win and try to, get back to that. All right, we're going to be the number 2 seed probably with the Packers out in front. So, I'm going to be on the Saints here.
Yeah, it's not out of the question that they'll lose the division, because they have to lose both and Tampa has to win both. But Tampa has 2 easy games. And here, if the Saints lose this game, they get Carolina next week. And, you can't really take any game for granted. So Carolina played them close the first time. Carolina's going to be at home. So it is possible that they'll lose. So they have to win this game. I think they're going to be more motivated than the Vikings. Like you said, the Saints have to rebound off a loss, whereas the Vikings, like you mentioned, they were basically eliminated from the playoffs. And I found that once teams are eliminated from the playoffs, like not mathematically, but practically, they tend to be flat for the first game, because there's just no motivation. So I think you're on the right side with the Saints. My only question is if Eric Kendricks is going to play. His absence the past 2 weeks has been enormous. The Vikings were missing 6 starters on defense before he got hurt, and he's one of the best linebackers in the NFL, and he's kind of like the glue that held everything together. But without him, they look so lost. They can't do anything right. They couldn't stop Mitchell Trubisky or David Montgomery. If he's out again, the Saints are going to score so easily, and they're going to win this game in a blowout. If he's back, I could see the Vikings hanging around and maybe getting a backdoor cover. So either way, I'm going to be on the Saints, but the unit count depends on Kendricks' status.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. This is always the time of year, too, where if I'm running an NFL team, my question is always if a guy's coming back from injury and he's not quite 100%, why would you risk playing him? So, maybe Kendricks is on track to be 100% this week. In that case, if he wants to play, let him play. There's obviously incentives in his contract and everything, and the defense is better and competitive without him there, or with him on the field, rather. But, I always err on the side of caution, so it wouldn't surprise me if, Mike Zimmer knows, all right, I'm still going to be coaching here next year. Maybe I just shut down Eric Kendricks because he's at 80% right now. So that'll definitely be something to watch. I think that's going to be the case in a lot of games where there's just going to be some injury questions, and it's going to be all right, we got to just know, are they going to shut their guys down, or are they just going to keep playing? Because that's always the number one thing for the last 2 weeks of the season for teams that are virtually eliminated.
Yeah, that's kind of what the Saints are doing with Michael Thomas. Not that they're eliminated or anything, but they want him healthy for the playoffs. So they've decided to shut him down. And then I think it's interesting that there are a few other teams that are not shutting their players down, like the Panthers with Christian McCaffrey, the Falcons with Julio Jones, the Bengals with Joe Mixon. All these guys could easily just sit out the final couple of games, but all those teams are holding out hope that they'll play. So we don't know any of their statuses yet. So it'll be interesting to see if they're going to play or not.